like to call to order the Westmont Village Board meeting of March 23rd, 2023, to order at 6 o'clock p.m. and ask Clerk Simsky for roll call.
Mayor Gunter.
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Barker.
Here.
Trustee Guzzo.
Here.
Trustee Little.
Here.
Trustee Nero.
Here.
Trustee Simonovich.
Here.
Attorney Zemanek.
Here.
Village Manager May.
Here.
Assistant Village Manager Parker.
Here. Would everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone. At this time, we always have an open forum. If anybody's here for any item not on the agenda, now's the time. Seeing no one, Chief, we'll close open forum, move on to reports. My report is first, and the Westmont Community Awards is scheduled for Monday, April 24th at our Hilton. The event will include award presentations by the Village, Chamber, Knights of Columbus, American Legion, the Westmont Rotary, and much more. Again, for details and to purchase tickets, visit the Westmont Chamber website. Dementia Friendly Westmont. We're having the next Dementia Friendly Westmont programs will be April the 5th, April 12th, and May 3rd at the Westmont Library. More information will be on the Westmont Library website. And today, right now, I think, we want to welcome to Westmont the USA Artistic Swimming arrived at the FMC Natatorium at Tidewater Park on Wednesday, but they started the competition today. They'll be here through Saturday, March 25th. And again, I understand that there's 450 people that have come to Westmont that need lodging and they're going to eat. So this is a great event, not only to recognize our natatorium at Tidewater Park in Westmont, but also for our local hotels and restaurants. Tickets for this U.S. Collegiate Artistic Swimming Championship are available at fmcnatatorium.org, and we can live stream this event on USA Collegiate Championship YouTube channel. And I have one other item. I think we've had a lot of comments about Addington Plaza. The Village in the fall put in the base so it could be ready for holidays. Looking forward to the decorative stuff that's going to go into Addington Plaza when the road is being constructed or reconstructed.
Yeah, and not just into the plaza, so it's part of the whole block-long streetscape work too, so there is plenty more to come.
Yeah, I just want to mention that. So we've got much more to do there, as well as
no fountains, but
yeah,
much more to do.
Much more to do. Again, I'll turn to Clerk Simsky.
Okay, I'm just going to kind of talk to people about elections. Early voting is available at the Westmont Library. Election day is Tuesday, April 4th. Everyone is encouraged to vote. More info on our website. Our village offices will be closed April 7th to the public. Regular hours will resume on Monday, April 10th.
Good. Thank you. And Trustee Little with Administration and Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. We had an Administration Finance Committee meeting that was held here today at 4:30 right here in Village Hall. Some of the items that were discussed were a food truck is interested in coming to Burlington and having specific hours that are a little bit different than normal code, so we're going to be talking further about that one. The village is allowed, our code allows the village to assist in locating spots to park food trucks. Another item this under discussion was the waste garbage recycling RFP, which is under development right now. We did take into consideration the Environmental Improvement Committee recommendations for both commercial and residential. We're going to try and find out how to what's the best way to consider the pricing on the waste company, whether we go for just commercial, just residential, or a combination of both. The container sizes to encourage recycling were mentioned. And so we just need to decide what's recyclable, what isn't recyclable, but to try and reduce our carbon footprint, obviously. Another item we discussed was expenses and reimbursements from travel. Also, to eliminate the existing downtown parking fund, just throw it into what we've already developed for parking downtown. And then we did have a finance report given by Finance Director Cunningham to move from fiscal year to a calendar year, and it'll take a stub year to correct all that, and that was a good idea. So we're going to proceed along that line. Our next budget meeting will be held, our first budget meeting will be held April 13th. Finance Director Cunningham and Assistant Village Manager Parker will present the proposed budget for 2023-2024. And then last, we have hiring applications are being accepted for the full-time Community Development Director position. Please visit the Employment Opportunities section of the Village website for more details on that position and how to apply. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. I got Trustee Nero, Public Works Committee.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. Just a few items. First, brush, yard waste, and compost programs will resume on April 3rd. There's details and some guidelines on the village website if you're interested. Same goes for the free leaf collection. More details on our website, but that is firing up April 10th through April 14th. This collection is for leaves only, and leaves must be placed in craft paper bags. Tree seedling giveaway, annual Arbor Day tree seedling giveaway is scheduled for April 28th. It's at the library, and you can sign up on the village website. And last but not least, adopt a planner. Once again, all planners have been adopted. Thanks to everybody who signed up. I'm shocked at how quickly that happens every year. Everybody takes full advantage of it, and they love it. So it's a good program to have. And don't forget to vote. This is my last item. There's really no excuse not to. You can vote at any polling station. They make it easy for you. If one's line's too long, go to the next one. There's 5 or 6 in Westmont. Get out there and vote. And that is all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Simonovich, Police Public Safety Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. The next Police Public Safety Committee meeting will be April 20th at 4:30 p.m. here at Village Hall. The Police Department is giving away steering wheel locks donated by Hyundai Motor America to Westmont residents who own specific Kia and Hyundai vehicles due to a recent spike in thefts of these vehicles. More information is on the Village website if you are such a car owner. The Police Department also has a number of upcoming events. Drug Take Back Day, April 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the police station as well as at Mariano's. Cop on a Rooftop is May 19th at participating Dunkin' Donuts locations. And the Paper Shred event is May 20th. Both the Cop on a Rooftop and the Shred event benefit Special Olympics. So we hope to see everybody participating in those as they are able. Details on all of those events are also on the Village website. Thank you.
Thank you. And Trustee Brady is out of town, and he's the Community Development Committee Chair. And the next meeting will be May 4th, 4:30 here at Village Hall. And under Planning and Zoning, the consultant and working group for the proposed downtown incentive program continue to make progress and anticipate a proposal for the May meeting for the Central Business District. So I'll turn to Trustee Johanna Guzzo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Citizens Fire Academy is still has openings for the Spring Citizens Fire Academy class. Classes start April 12th and end on May 10th. Currently, there are 12 residents signed up. More information is available on the Village website. It is a great program. I encourage anyone who hasn't attended a Citizens Fire Academy to take it. It's just it's a wealth of knowledge. And then I want to remind everybody that our Knights of Columbus still has their Lenten Fish Fry. The address for the Knights of Columbus Hall is 25 North Cass Avenue, and it's every Friday through Lent, and it's from 5 to 8 p.m. So come on out, get some great fish, see people you haven't seen in a while, and it's just a really great time. And that's all I have, Mayor.
The Knights do a tremendous job with that. So Trustee Barker, Environmental Improvement Committee and the Westmont First.
Thank you, Mayor. The Environmental Improvement Committee will meet on April 3rd, 5:30 here in Village Hall. The EIC is going to do an annual report for year 2022 year end and 2023 goals at an upcoming meeting scheduled in the next couple of weeks. Electronics and more recycling event, and this is important. The event has been moved to the commuter lot directly across from Village Hall here, and get the word out so that people bring it to the right location. It is, details are going to be confirmed on the village website, but the event is scheduled for April 15th, so we have a little time to adjust. But it's going to be here in Village Hall instead of over at the Public Works facility. That's from 8 a.m. until noon. And then lastly, the No Mow Till Mother's Day program is off and running. We have over 160 residents. There's still time to sign up. There's signs in a lot of yards in the neighborhoods, but it's a great thing that helps our pollinators, so that we're asking people to get involved in that. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to items we removed from the consent agenda. Does any board member see any item? If not, I'd ask Manager May to please read the consent agenda.
Consent agenda this evening begins with Village Board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the Village Board meeting held March 9, 2023. Next is Finance Ordinance number 23 in the amount of $1,846,054.78. We have a few purchase orders. First one is Roermont Motors. You have to say it that way too. So, $39,014.26 is a replacement vehicle in the DEA program. Next purchase order, Baxter and Woodman, $73,000. This is for Phase 3 or construction inspection services, engineering services for the Linden, Warwick, and Dallas water main improvements. Next purchase order is the construction contract for the water main itself, H. Linden and Sons Sewer and Water, $982,205. This is just the purchase order encumbering the amount, for a contract that's awarded. Albright Building, $133,972.30. That's for work in the police department, the locker room remodel. And those purchase orders add up to $1,228,191.56. Then together, the purchase orders with Finance Ordinance number 23 is $3,074,246.34. And that completes the consent agenda.
Motion to approve as presented.
Motion to approve is presented.
Second, Nero.
Second, motion made and second. Any questions or comments?
There.
Yes, Trustee Burke.
I just wanted to comment, the renovation at the police department there, it seems like a large number because our bathrooms at home don't cost that much. But I looked at the detail that we get, and the detail is very valid. It rings true. It's a fair price for all the work that's being done. I just don't want people to hear that number and go, that's a huge number. It's really not for all the work that's being done there.
And it was bid out.
Yes.
And this is the money that we've collected from the program with Chief Spector with the drug enforcement. No,
Yeah.
no, it's not.
Not this one, but...
Not this one, but no, okay.
But this is a good point, and those contracts are awarded in detail and reviewed separately. This is just the purchase order for paying the bills.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Trustee Parker.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Motion passes. Now, moving on to new business, I am going to move one item up, and then we'll go back to the order that it was presented. I'm going to have new business D, the Z Smoke Shop, special use permit 319 West 63rd Street. Board to consider an ordinance approving a request from Ahmad Dina Smoke Shop regarding the property at 319 West 63rd Street for a special use permit for a tobacco and vape retail store in the B2 General Business District. Director Powell.
Thank you, Mayor and trustees. This is a special use request for a vape and tobacco retail store on 63rd Street. Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing at their March 8th meeting, at which time the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval, unanimously recommend, I'm sorry, not unanimously, but did recommend approval of the special use by a 5-to-1 vote, I believe. It is an existing retail space. They are in compliance with all other aspects of the zoning ordinance, and there was no opposition at the public hearing. No one from the public who spoke to the matter. In summary, the Planning and Zoning Commission does recommend approval of the special use. The applicant is here as well, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
You want to-
Good evening. My name is Ahmed Dina, and I'm planning to open a business in Westmont community. It's a smoke shop. It's going to be in 319 West 63rd Street.
Well, your hours, do you know when you
Describe your business and
describe your business?
times.
Yeah.
Business, I'm going to selling in the business vape and vape accessories, tobacco and hookah, and the glasses for the hookah and the thing. And accessories, vape accessories, hookah accessories, and cigar and tobacco. The business will be selling in the business.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Nero.
Motion made and second. Questions? Anybody?
Just a comment,
Yes.
Mayor. I know Trustee Brady isn't here tonight, he's listening, but he just wanted me to pass on some insight that he felt he was just not supportive of adding more vape shops in town, so I just wanted to share that with the board.
Yeah. And I do want to comment on that. We've already started looking into licensing vape stores for the next calendar year. Right now, we don't have a license for it. We have it for tobacco, but state law allows us to license vape shops. We have a little bit more control. This one is allowed in that zoning district. So, any other comments? Anybody? Yes, Trustee Simonovich.
I know there's a lot of concern in terms of youth abuse of vape. Is it something that is still subject to inspection?
Yes.
Yes.
So it comes under the, tobacco shops come under the purview of the tobacco commissioner, who's the mayor. And this is a licensed tobacco shops, and there are underage stings that occur regularly. And violators are brought before the tobacco commissioner and fined. So that is something that is regulated. And then if there is a standalone vape shop, once the village establishes a regulatory licensing scheme for that, that also, if there's underage sales, et cetera, there'll be penalties, fines, et cetera.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes.
How far is the yard, Westmont Yard from there?
Quite a distance. So I helped, I was working with the deputy clerk on figuring out the distance between, there is a daycare center next door to this strip mall, but it meets the required distance separation from the door of this proposed lease space to the daycare, and then Westmont Yard's on the other side of that, so it's 500 plus feet away. And with a separate ingress egress, there's no shared access to get over to the daycare or Westmont Yard.
So they
How large
satisfy
is
our
the-
ordinance then? Yes.
How large is the size of the,
The leased premises,
yes?
I think 1,500 square feet, if I recall.
Location, yes.
Big.
And then question, I don't know if you answered this, I could have missed it. The hours of operation?
It's going to be from 10 to 10 a.m. to 9 or 10 p.m.
Okay.
Like not more than 12 hours.
Would you care to have that hour limitation written into the ordinance? no later than 10 or no later than 11 in case the business
Yeah,
plan
no,
changes?
it's not going to be later than 10. It's going to be 9 or 10. I'm not sure exactly. Let's
go with
But no
10.
later than 10.
Okay.
I think we should write it in that if we approve it, 10 o'clock is the latest they can be open.
Yeah, it's
Have
no
to
later
amend the
than
motion
10.
then?
No, it's just a condition to the motion. Unless there's objection, I'll make sure that gets added as a special condition to the special use ordinance, which you have the right to do for special use ordinances. I will say the standard for considering a special use is whether this use at this particular location would have unique and adverse impacts compared to if it were located in any other piece of property within that zoning district. So you'd have to, consider what the surrounding uses are, traffic patterns, things like that, if you have an issue with this use.
Yes, trustee Barker.
So I think we had a conversation similar to this a few years ago, and the count, I think, on vape shops was like 12 throughout the village. I don't know if anybody recalls that. I'm trying
I
to...
remember, it's been a
Remember
while.
it
I
being
think
a-
trustee Addington was,
Yes.
Right, well, I'm looking at the empty chair, right? Shades of Jim Addington, but, yeah, I think there's a lot of vape shops.
we also ban it from the central business district, so that district is not allowed to have a vape shop.
Right.
So this is kind of a combination of vape and tobacco.
Yeah, it's more than, yeah.
And again, one of the requirements is that no more than 40% of your windows can be covered. I think Deputy Liquor Commissioner Mulhern, Tobacco Commissioner Mulhern informed you that you can't cover all the windows. It has to be 40% only.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lights, all of it.
Yes.
Can you speak to what the violations have looked like in town recently? Have we had a lot of tobacco violations?
Deputy Liquor Commissioner Mulhern, we've had tobacco.
I can give Trustee Samala some information in place of the chief. The police department recently received a complaint from a mother that her son went and bought a vape product, not at this business, on 63rd Street. The detectives did an investigation and ended up arresting that clerk under a state charge, and he notified me, so I am in the process of putting it on our next hearing agenda, so the tobacco commissioner, liquor commissioner will hear that as well. So when they get complaints they found about, they will do it. Amount of violations, I'm pleased to say that the police department went out 3 weeks ago, and we had no violations. Where in the past we've had 7 or 8 per check. They go out, they have a grant, and so they have to do so many. I think it's 1 check a quarter for tobacco. So they do go out, and they've done that. Like as I said, last one they had 0. So we're very happy with that. We're hopefully getting a message because the board approved increasing fines. So if we hit them financially, maybe they'll change their business practice. Well, let's see what happens in a couple of months. But right now, it's better than what it was in months past.
Thank you.
But on this, like with the vape, we don't restrict vape. Been working with the village attorney. We'll have something sometime in the near future for you on that. But right now, the detectives are complaint driven. So if someone has any complaints, please let the police department know, and the officers will handle.
Could you go over the fines?
I don't have them with me. I don't know. I just know we increased them. I believe it's $400 for the first fine, $800, then it goes up in $400 increments, $400 for the first fine, $800 for the second, $1,200 for the third, and then they also pay $200 in court costs.
It's a little bit more.
$300. So a violation will cost, for this is the same for alcohol. Alcohol is very, very close to the same. They'll pay close to $700 for 1 violation.
And then with the possibility of suspension on the third,
Right.
Or ultimate revocation.
after the third, yeah.
And if there's egregious circumstances, you can suspend or
Suspend
revoke
it.
at any time.
And we had one business too, it was their 3rd violation. They had the option of paying an additional fine, I believe is $1,000, in lieu of a suspension. They only get that option once. So if they violate again and we cumulative on a 5-year time period, so if they violate again, the option is either a suspension and/or a revocation, if that's deemed necessary.
And just as a reminder, we're using the same process for our alcohol checks. Twice a year, we have an underage individual go out with the detectives, and they go to every place that has an alcohol license, no matter...
Even if they just opened.
Even if they just open, that's the requirement, so they don't pick and choose, they go to every one. Same thing with tobacco. One evening, I think they go, right, Chief? One evening, they start, and they go to every one to make sure they're complying with the right age, so...
Yeah, so the alcohol ones should be coming soon. I'm not going to give you a date or a time, but the businesses know that we check, and so they know to be on their good behavior, and but we'll see.
Okay. Any other comment? Then we need a roll call, please.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
trustee Simonovich,
Yes.
trustee Barker,
Yes.
trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
trustee Nero.
Yes.
Motion passes, and we'll go to E, increase in available tobacco license. And this is, of course, is for the same one we just approved. Board to consider ordinance increasing the number of available Class B tobacco license by one for the Dina, I hope I'm saying that right,
Last name.
85, the smoke shop at 319 West 63rd Street. And I think,
I'm back.
Mr. Mulhern,
I'm
you're
still
still
here,
there.
I didn't go anywhere. Z Smoke Shop, Dina 85 LLC at 319 West 63rd, applied for a business and tobacco license. A limited background review and various other reviews were completed to receive a business license. Z Smoke is eligible to receive a business and tobacco license. There is a need to increase the number of available tobacco licenses by one to allow the Tobacco Commissioner the ability to issue a tobacco license. Z Smoke intends to sell tobacco, vape, and very limited food items at this location. I gave you, all the trustees, a review. This is Mr. Dina's first business adventure. He's excited. He's looking forward to coming to town. Again, he said he will be selling vape, but a little bit more vape than tobacco. But I think it was something more like 60% like that vape and 40% tobacco. It's close. As far as the snacks, it'd be like chips and pretzels and that type of thing, not a 7-Eleven type business. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve Guzzo?
Second Little?
Motion made and second. Comments? I do have one that applies to liquor and tobacco, that the board has to approve any awarding of tobacco or liquor license, and they also have to approve the reduction of a license, either one. So,
Of the available
of
licenses.
the available license, so that if a new business comes in and wants alcohol, this board has to, after background check.
With one exception, that if a tobacco business was in there
Yeah.
and a new business is coming in and selling tobacco, we don't notify the board because we'd almost be doing it every month. If it's a pre-existing business at a location that, previously, we don't. In this case, this location never sold tobacco, thus we're here tonight. So.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Motion passes. When are you going to open?
Soon as I can, like to finish decoration and everything. Probably the end of next month.
Well, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We're going to move back to the new business A, St. Baldrick fundraiser, Fremont Bar and Grill. Board to consider ordinance approving the following requests for the St. Baldrick event hosted by Fremont Grill to be held on March 26, 2023. One, a fee waiver for one-day Class 11 liquor license, and two, live amplified sound permit. Deputy Liquor Commissioner Mulhern. Or Chief Riley, or...
Deputy Clerk.
We'll just keep going. Deputy Clerk Richards.
Good evening, Village Board. Fremont Bar and Grill will be hosting a fundraising event for St. Baldrick at 1115 through 1119 Fairview Avenue. There will be a tent set up in the parking lot. Mr. Mark Zayed is here tonight to talk to you about his event and his requests.
Yeah, so I had a group of regulars of mine that used to go to Carrie Piper every year and go shave their head. Kerry Piper's no more. And so they've been looking for another location for a venue, and so I decided to step my foot in there. And doing it because we've all been touched by cancer, lost my father and my brother to it, and it's always a good cause. And so we just want to make it a nice event. Our goal is to raise $25,000. Right now we're at $10,000 so far, so we hope to raise the other $15,000 on the way there on Sunday. Portion of the money that we're raising is all pretty much going to the St. Baldrick's that day. Yeah, that's mainly it.
And Mark, you've met with the fire department for safety, and I know Chief's coming up as a requirement for any tent or traffic.
Yep, so Mayor Board, I met with Mark on Monday night at his facility. We went over all the details. He'll be having the tents put up first thing on Sunday morning, which I will go out to approve on a Sunday. We also will make sure that the parking lot is cordoned off with either water barrels or the concrete blocks. He hasn't told me exactly that one. There will be orange fencing put up all around it. I did approve 2 porta potties to be outside. Mark also wanted to have food being made outside, which I denied, because then it gets into another whole particular thing with the DuPage County Health Department, which he agreed to. And I told Mark that I'll be making numerous stops by to make sure that this event is running properly. I also did talk to the property owner. He is aware that this event is being placed on the property out on the front of the building. He had no issues with it, and fire and police both have talked about this, and we have no issues with this either. It's a Sunday. Most of the businesses are closed except for Laura's, and maybe the laundromat is open. So fire and police are in.
You're going to grow your hair out to...
I've already got shaved a couple of days before, but this gentleman did too.
I'm shaving mine.
And again,
like Chief soon.
You are. Then the waiver of the fee is $100. That's what the fee would be?
Yeah, I'm requesting not to waive that fee, Mayor, since I have to go out there on a Sunday on my village time and dime, so I'd like you to keep that waiver fee in the permitting process.
An additional question with that. You mentioned that a portion of the fundraising goes to St. Baldrick's. What portion do you anticipate that would be?
Well, there's a $5 entry fee. The $5 entry fee all goes towards it. 25% of my register take that whole day goes towards it, right? The other portion is to cover all my other costs, because I'm paying for the fencing, I'm paying for the porta toilets, I'm paying for the stage, paying for the tents, all that I'm paying for.
I appreciate that. It was mostly as far as it applies to a fee waiver.
Yeah, so all that is going on. I also applied for raffle tickets. We're selling 50/50, and I'm giving away like some TVs. I got a $93 Cuban cigar my bartender picked up for me from Jamaica. I'm going to auction that off too. So if you like to smoke a good cigar, come in and try to buy one, win it.
It's legal, right?
Yeah, sure. But so that's the goal. So everything that we sell for the raffle tickets and stuff like that, that's all going towards the charitable event.
Thank you.
They should break it into 2.
Is there an end time?
There's an interest.
6 o'clock.
There's an interest.
12 to 6.
Okay.
And again, the fee's $100, and if the board is interested in not waiving it, then the motion would reflect that. It's one motion for these 2 items. If you want to waive the fee, it's already printed that way. So you just make a motion to approve as I stated.
And if you don't, then you should ask that it be broken into 2 separate votes.
Motion to approve as is, Nero.
Second, Little?
Motion been made, second to approve as stated. Any additional comments?
Thanks for doing it.
Yeah,
Sounds like a good event.
great cause.
Come on by.
Well, Steve's got his head cut. I was already gone, and Chief, so...
You can still come and donate.
Yeah.
Donate to the ones that are coming to cut. Or you can go to Facebook, Google, type in Westmont, and Fremont will come up, and you can just donate directly that way, too.
Seeing no other questions, roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes?
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
All right, Mark, you're going to let us know when you're going to get cut? What time?
I don't know.
You're going to do
the schedule yet.
You're going to do the whole thing?
Well, they don't do the beards. So I was growing my beard out, and then I shaved it. I trimmed it the other day because it was driving me crazy. And so it turns out they don't do the beards. They only do the hair.
Well, motion passes.
Thank you. Again, come out and join. All right? Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And again, Fremont Bar and Grill. Now, we'll move on to B, neat, covered patio addition, 246 North Cass Avenue. Board to consider ordinance approving request from Full Circle Partners LLC, which is Neat Kitchen and Bar, and Mike Higgins, owner, regarding the property located at 246 North Cass Avenue for the following. 1, zoning ordinance variance to allow a covered patio within a required supplemental setback line to Cass Avenue and within a required front yard setback in the B1 Limited Business District. 2, preliminary and final plat of subdivision to consolidate the 4 lots into one, and site and landscaping plan approval, foundation landscape waiver, and a parking stall size waiver. And I've got Director Pollock to give us some additional information.
Thank you, Mayor and trustees. The owner of Neat Kitchen and Bar, 246 North Cass Avenue, is proposing to build a covered patio to the side of their building over some existing parking spaces. In order to do that, they need several zoning approvals from the village. First is that the covered patio area encroaches into the supplemental setback and the B1 setback. Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of that, given that the existing building already encroaches into those setbacks, and the patio would be an extension of the existing building, would not be any closer than the existing building, and so therefore the Planning and Zoning Commission felt it was justified. They need to consolidate 4 lots into one. That's more of a housekeeping measure, just to have it recorded as a single property. And with the addition of the outdoor patio area, they need site and landscaping plan approval. Planning and Zoning Commission did review the site and landscaping plan and were comfortable with the plan. And then there are 2 waivers that are not subject to planning and zoning review as they're related to the municipal code. One is there's a requirement that the addition have a 6-foot foundation landscaping around the edge of it. On the north side, parking lot side, it'd be the west side, they do have the 6-foot landscaping area. South side, where the covered patio area abuts the parking lot, they could have put 6 foot in, but staff had suggested reducing that to 3 foot so there could be a sidewalk particularly for handicap accessibility, but for everyone's use to go from the parking lot to the front door. So they're asking for a reduction there from 6 to 3 feet. And then on the street side, obviously with the building already out to the street line and the patio wanting to match that setback, they're asking for a waiver of the 6-foot landscaping strip on the sidewalk or street side of the patio area. And then finally, the municipal code requires 10-foot wide parking spaces. They're proposing 9 feet wide in order to be able to maximize parking. I should mention too, under the site and landscaping plan approval, they are reconfiguring the parking lot to maximize the number of parking spaces they can save by creating a one-way 18-foot wide drive with angled parking spaces. So you will enter the parking lot off Cass Avenue and then exit through the alley either to the north or south. They are reducing the parking, but they are still in compliance with the number of parking spaces that would be required if this were a new building. I think they have 39 spaces now. They'll have 26 spaces. If this were a new building that required parking, they would be required to have 18 parking spaces. The applicant is here, and I'd be happy to answer any questions at any time. Thank you.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about your patio?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and trustees. My name is Matt. I'm the owner of Neat Kitchen and Bar. 2 weeks ago, we were approved by the Planning and Zoning to put the new addition to the building on. We had really good success during COVID with the outdoor dining, and have heard from a lot of residents that we need more outdoor dining. We definitely agreed. So with the help of Lance, our architect, and Mike Higgins, the owner of the building, we put a plan together to redo the face of the building, kind of make it more appealing, a better curb appeal on Cass, along with adding this 900 square foot patio, which would give us 10 additional tables, so 40 additional seats out there that could be used from spring through fall. The only things that are in the way here are some of these variances that I think that we worked through with the planning and zoning. And then as far as the parking stall waiver, some of our spots right now are even less than 9 feet. We're proposing 9 feet, which is only a 1 foot difference from what the law is or what the rule is. So hopefully you guys can look past that and make this happen for us.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little.
Second, Euro.
Motion been made in second. Comments and questions. I have one. A lot of our businesses downtown exit the alley, so this isn't nothing new, because they go through their parking lot and exit the alley because they have angled parking. And I do have to say, NEAT's been a tremendous asset to this community as far as sponsorships, involvement. They've done everything, and they've got a great business. During COVID, when they had the dining outside, they complied with every rule and ordinance, and I know that Deputy Liquor Commissioner Mulhern has met with them and talked about getting in and out, and we've come to a pretty good agreement that people could exit there. So I'm very pleased with everything that I see. So Trustee Barker.
I just want to compliment you on your business. I think it's a great place. Personally, I would like to see a lot of landscaping around that patio, because I wouldn't want to have a nice dinner in a parking lot. But I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Trustee Little.
I actually like the idea of your angle parking and exiting the alley, because knowing the parking lot right now, you go in and you're backing up and you're turning, and it's a lot of congestion when people are leaving, a large number of people are leaving at the same time. So I really like that idea of going to the angle parking and exiting the alley. Thank you.
Yeah, reconfiguring the one-way from Cass and then exiting on the alley, and then the addition of the sidewalk just provides a safer parking lot than what we have right now. So.
Yeah. Well, you have a wonderful place there, and
thank you.
I like it because I can walk there and back.
Thank you.
Trustee Simonovich.
When is it going to be done so I can go?
Our plan is to have it done by Taste of Westmont. The stage is right down there, and so we always, it's always a very popular place for the Taste of Westmont. So we'd like to have everything completed and an occupancy before the Taste of Westmont. So that being said, if there's anything that we need to do to help move things along, expedite permitting and stuff like that, please let us know, because that's what we'd like to do.
I have one quick question. Okay, so now it's been in and out both ways for so long. Signage, is it going to be painted on the pavement, or is there going to be a sign with an arrow in, enter only? And is there going to be any signage on the alley so nobody does try to get in there from the alley? I know it's going to be angled parking, but we all know that if there's not signage, people are going to try to sneak their way in there and kind of...
Sure. So based on the rules and regulations for traffic and things like that, we'll work with the village to comply with any of the signage that is needed. Arrows on the parking lot when we repave it or re-blacktop it, we'll do that too. So anything that is needed to get the word out there, we will comply with.
Okay. And I'm close to the clerk, so we walk when we come.
We don't even need to vote.
Yeah, I think you already got it.
Any other comments?
I appreciate the investment. Thank you. I mean, it's a great project.
And it's a great business. They've been great for the community, as I know Trustee Little with their involvement with the special events. So seeing anybody in the audience? Seeing roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I told you it'd pass. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Moving on to new business C, a sign variance, 999 Oakmont Plaza Drive. Board to consider ordinance approving a request from John Burns Construction Company, who is the petitioner, and 999 Oakmont Valley Equity Group regarding property located at 999 Oakmont Plaza Drive for a zoning variance to alter the orientation of wall signs. And Director Pollock.
Thank you. The applicant is an occupant of the building, a tenant in the building, and they are requesting to have signage on the south facade of the building, a wall sign. The sign is 158 square feet in area. The sign itself is permitted. If it were on the north side of the building or the west side, it would not need a sign variation. But in order to maximize their exposure to Route 83, the applicant would like to put it on the south side of the building. And since the south side does not face a parking lot or directly to a street, they need a variation. So again, I want to emphasize that it's not an increase in the number or size of signs. It's strictly a variation to allow the sign to be on a side of the building, the south side, which it would otherwise not be allowed to be located on that side. Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval. There was no public opposition to this request, at least no one appeared at the hearing to speak to it. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is here as well.
Do you have anything to add?
Unless you have a question
Well, but more, better exposure, you know, for your company.
Not only the...
You come up to the podium so they can see and hear you.
My name's Pat Esposito. I'm the Director of Business Development for John Burns. We're not only the tenant at 99, we're the largest tenant in 999. We just finished a 28,000 square foot build out and moved our office from Orland Park, Illinois to Westmont.
Well, welcome, that's great.
Long-term lease, right?
10-year with a renewal.
Great. What, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little.
Motion made and second. Additional comments? Anybody? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Motion passes. You can put that up sooner than later, right?
That's the plan.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's nice.
Moving on to F, intergovernmental agreement to Page County Water Quality Improvement Grant. Board to consider ordinance approving an intergovernmental agreement, IGA, with DuPage County for a water quality improvement program grant for the alley reconstruction project of Section H. And Public Works Director Reese.
Good evening. This is an intergovernmental agreement similar to others that we've had in the past for these type of water quality improvement program grants. This particular one is for Alley H, which is the segment that is behind Uncle Bub's. And we were lucky to get $66,129 in water quality improvement program grant from the county. There's still a little bit of back and forth between the agreement. So the agreement that you see attached, there might be some small changes to it, but nothing material, just some like payment, you know, when we're paying them, when they're, you know, how long they have to review our invoices and stuff like that. So we recommend approval of this IGA with DuPage County for water quality improvement program grant.
Do I have a motion to approve?
We better. Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little.
Motion been made, second. Comments?
Is this
Yes, Trustee
is this the last alley that we have to work on?
Yeah, this is the last like full segment of Central Business District, like the brick type alley. Yeah, so yay.
Good job.
Any other comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Motion passes.
What's worth mentioning the hard work that the committee does to, you know, evaluate these projects and do the grant, so trustee Nero participates with.
Trustee Nero is our representative on that committee, and he was very instrumental in getting us the grant for $66,129. So, thank you. We'll move on to G, resolution for improvement under the Illinois Highway Code. Board to consider approval of an Illinois Department of Transportation resolution for the village's 2023 MFT resurfacing project. Director Reese.
This item is similar to resolutions you've approved in the past to expend MFT dollars. The state of Illinois requires us to pass a resolution authorizing the expenditure. And I know everyone's been waiting eagerly for the roads. A couple of them are on the actual resolution themselves, but there is a selection of roads that fit our budgeted amount. And we're going to try to do all of them pending the results of our bidding when that happens. The project has been up at IDOT now for a long time,
Last update was, we're aware.
Yeah, still lingering,
right?
but.
Yeah, that's normal.
But, so some of the roads that are going to be paved as part of this, 65th Street from Cass to Willow, south along Willow Lane from Pier to Willow Way, and east along Willow Way from Willow Lane to Cass, north along William Street from 63rd to 59th, north along Wilmette from 60th to 55th, west along Arlington Avenue from Oakwood Drive to Franklin Street, south along Franklin Street from Arlington to Philadelphia, east along Philadelphia, Franklin to Oakwood, Monticello Avenue, Franklin to Oakwood, and there'll be no work performed in the state right-of-way. So once our bid is open and we can confirm all these bid amounts, we'll get maps up on the website and get a project update posted. We just don't want to, these are tentative just because we don't know what the bid costs are going to be, and we will have to cut the project to fit the bid costs that we get.
I know we've heard this
Hopefully not.
before, but these roads are graded by an independent company, and we follow the worst to the best, so.
Yeah, a company comes in every 3 years and they drive it with this infrared scanner that scans the pavement condition, and it gives each segment a pavement condition index score, so that's how we're able to objectively select the worst ones, to keep that pavement condition high and avoid more costly reconstructions in the future.
I just want to point that out.
Yeah, it is the ranking at the day of the study, but each winter, sometimes we get different deterioration, so the list might deviate year to year.
Yeah, but we've been following that pretty much.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
I just had a thought, when we started spending a lot of money aggressively on the roads, I'm wondering if we're always doing 1.7 million, or are we, because we can manage it, or are we doing less and less year after year because our roads are better than they used to be?
The report that we get speaks to that, about what their recommended funding level should be, and they had a range between 1.2 and 2.2, and so this was the number that we kind of settled on, to split the difference between that for now. And then, as Manager May said, we evaluate that each year.
But this also matches so that we have an allotment each year of motor fuel tax, and that changes a little bit each year, but this is what that is, and we tend to do just the one project with all the motor fuel tax, available to us.
Okay, so I guess I should say, are we gaining ground on our roads?
I would say we're
Holding our own or gaining?
We're holding steady, and there'll be gradual improvement over time. So we're not losing ground for sure.
If you're looking over the long term, it was 10 years ago, that was a primary topic, was the overall condition of all the streets. So we've definitely are making progress on it.
Yeah, good, thank you.
And that was when we did the bond in order to get a jump start on the road, so.
I'm just kind of saying, that's the motor fuel, is that enough money? It appears that it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the governor? Ask him for more. Did I get a motion? No, I need a motion.
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little?
Motion made in second. Any additional comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Motion passes. I was kind of kidding, but the governor today has announced some big grants for the hotel industry and also for private nonprofit groups. So look on the website. He's approved, I know Larry's back there, but for our hotels and travel, he's appropriated quite a bit of money for our businesses, restaurants. So maybe he's in a good mood and he'll do more for the village. Yeah, I hope, yeah. Moving on to H, approval of change order number 1, Pasquinelli Lighting Project. Board to consider ordinance approving change order number 1 to the Pasquinelli Lighting Project to Utility Dynamics Incorporated for the amount not to exceed $45,589.16 and a total award of $477,927.16. Director Reese.
So this is related to some of the dark sky initiatives. We were asked to negotiate a cost to convert all of the fixtures to dark sky, and there'll be, so the 3,000, is it Kelvin?
Yeah.
On the Pasquinelli side, and 2,700 on the Oakmont side for comparison purposes. So initially, some of the fixtures were remaining on the poles that were already aluminum, and just the ones on the concrete poles were being replaced. But in this case, to provide a uniformity in the lighting level, so there's not like one that's brighter or darker than another one, or a different color, more blue or more orange than the one next to it. This would be the cost to not to exceed to convert all of them over to the specified color for the dark sky requirement. And this is just a not to exceed value because we're going to try to negotiate some savings with the contractor, particularly in terms of the foundations on the old poles, to be able to reuse them because the pay item was complete foundation, pole, fixture. So if anything can be negotiated regarding those, then we will attempt to do so.
I think Trustee Barker's been...
Yeah, I mean, we went out to bid, and then just as a street lighting problem in a location, we're on like over 2 years of trying to rectify that. So when we went out to bid, it was just about the underground wiring, the controllers, and all of that too. And we got that going and moved. And the reason this is listed as a change order, because none of these parts were part of that, and then tying it together with the Environmental Improvement Committee, and you could speak to that if you would.
Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah. So, on behalf of the Environmental Improvement Committee, this is really a step in the right direction. As Manager May had said via email earlier, and he says this all the time, but it gives us an opportunity to look at and evaluate a lighting sample in real time, which EIC has been asking for now for a number of years, but you can go out and actually see what it is we're talking about, so that you understand the possibility and the difference between what we currently have and what we could have or should have. And the dark skies that we talk about, it's the right color and the right temperature. But it's about shining the lights down. It's not, it's a commercial for dark skies, but shining the lights down, not out and not up, where they do absolutely no good. And that's important to us, that we get that out there, that you shine the light where you need it. And then, this lighting technology has changed so much that we should take advantage of better lighting products, and everything we all do should be dark sky compliant, although we understand, EIC understands that it's going to be a transition from the old way of doing things to a better solution, and the technology is now getting there and, the science behind it makes perfect sense. I don't know how you argue against it, but, I appreciate the support, if there's support for this change order. I know the Environmental Improvement Committee will be happy to see that, and...
Some here tonight.
You got anybody
Some here
from
to-
your committee you'd like to add to that?
Well, yeah, Chris is here. I don't know, Chris, if you have anything to say.
Come up to the podium, introduce yourself.
Very well versed, and then prior at the committee meeting, also Carol Johnson was here, and Carol has left, but all these people on the EIC care, and they are much smarter than I am, but they do great work, and this is one of the things that's very important, that we try to change this, and it's not just Westmont, it's across the globe.
In the hallway.
So,
I think she's in the hallway.
oh, Carol is there.
Yeah.
She wouldn't leave before this, Bruce.
Thank you, Trustee Barker. Good evening, committee members. My name is Krista Stanoulis, and as Trustee Barker noted, I'm a member of the Environmental Improvement Committee. So first of all, I just want to reiterate what Trustee Barker had said. We commend the village in taking the time to investigate and move toward dark sky fixtures. Because what's been brought up tonight is strictly related to the color temperature, the Kelvin temperature, which is how we see the light, if we see it more blue or more yellow, is what we're talking about tonight, and that the fixtures are going to be 2,700 or 3,000 Kelvin temperature fixtures, which both comply with the International Dark Sky Association requirements. I just wanted to make a note, I guess moving forward, I don't know if these particular fixtures are the full cutoff type fixtures that do not shine light upward and outward. So that's one other thing that is important in dark skies when we're moving forward. The brightness and the uniformity, so picking the right fixture is important, but also how we use that fixture is important. So I think in this particular instance, we're replacing fixtures exactly where they are, but perhaps in future projects where we're actually laying out new fixture locations, that's something to take into account and actually do the photometric studies to see that we're getting the right foot candle levels that don't exceed what's required by the International or Illuminating Engineer Society. And then also, one thing that the IDA, the International Dark Sky Association, takes into account also is the timing of lighting and only having lights on when needed, or being able to dim lights. Being as this is a roadway project, I don't know, what's realistically something that we can do in that instance, but just to keep in mind moving forward with other dark sky projects. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
But thank you very much.
So she did raise the bar for us now, because the spacing of this stuff is critical, although this project isn't being done that way. We found that, everybody went to LED lighting, and actually the answer to that was it burns less electricity, and just people ran out and just bought more of them. So the actual electricity use hasn't gone down, it's just we have a lot more LED lights to fill up the ceiling.
Yeah, and one of the things that happened with the conversion to LED is that with a lot less wattage, you could have a lot more light output. So one of the problems first, they came out and they were all that blue light, but also you're getting a lot more light on a surface than you necessarily need. So the Illuminating Engineer Society has recommendations for what light levels in certain situations that you should provide. So the recommendation from the International Dark Sky Association is not to exceed those levels. So basically, taking into account when you do a photometric study, seeing how much light is broadcast over an area, but also not just the point locations, but uniformity. So you're not creating glare in certain locations and not having any light in others, which also provides less security and is more difficult to the eye. So
Again, I compliment the committee. We also heard the work you've done on the RFP for the waste haulers, a tremendous amount of work. Trustee Barker, go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you for the committee for serving the village of Westmont. The great volunteers, Mayor.
Yes, I could see that.
Can I tie some of that all together in that we've been working towards this, and this is our first location. So a lot of there's not a lot of new construction or new subdivision, so we're dealing with, existing equipment, and we're doing retrofitting. So this is the first long stretch where we're doing all the lighting en masse, to do that, so that, I'll just call it like a pilot. And the reason we're using 2 different temperatures is so we can talk about what's on paper forever, but until you see it, the goal here is to develop our standard and what that's going to be moving forward, so.
It's fantastic, yeah. Yeah, and like I said, the IES, basically their requirement is anything 3,000 or below, but it is more beneficial to go with the warmer light from an environmental perspective, although it's not necessarily, it's finding that line of what's the best fit for Westmont. So I think that's great that we're investing in it both ways, so.
Yeah, Amy actually tried with we were looking for, I don't know, we heard there were like, you can program different temperatures, we haven't found those fixtures and probably couldn't afford them, but, we keep looking towards that.
Right. Wonderful, great. We look forward to seeing it, thank you.
Thank
Do
you.
I have a motion to approve the change order?
Motion to approve Barker.
Second, Nero.
Motion made and second. Any additional comments other than where do you get all these good people on your committee?
Yeah.
In Westmont.
In Westmont. There you go. Well done. Roll call, please.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
And Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Motion passes, and thank you. New business I, proposal for remodels, 500 North Cass Avenue. Board to consider ordinance approving 3 proposals and addendums thereto from Albright Building Incorporated from remodeling work at 500 North Cass Avenue for the following. 1, fire department bathrooms, men and women's. 2, police department bathrooms, men's and women's. 3, police department weight room bathrooms, men and women's. Chief Gunther.
Thank you, Mayor. So the proposal before you is long and complicated with the documents that were attached, but essentially we're looking for approval for a remodel to all the existing bathrooms, showers in both the police and the fire department side at 500 North Cass. Currently, the existing bathrooms are the originals, so 1997. We're looking at 26-year-old facilities, and so we're looking for an upgrade to that. One of the questions that you posed during the consent agenda about using DEA funds to address that, on the police side, at least, we could have used DEA funds. However, because of federal bureaucratic red tape and additional costs, it made more sense financially to go through capital for this particular project. So, this will freshen up the bathrooms and then, get code compliance to 21st century and, get some energy efficiency within those facilities.
There's a lot of remodeling for ADA requirements.
Yeah, we've covered all that.
That's, new, that wasn't in there in 97. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little.
Motion made second. Additional questions?
Just point out, this wasn't competitively bid, because you passed a local ordinance a year or 2 ago stating that renovation work to existing buildings, you can waive competitive bidding, which means advertising publicly for a bid, but it requires a vote of 2/3 of the corporate authorities then holding office. So we need 4 votes to approve. State statute on competitive bidding allows you to waive competitive bidding by a 2/3 vote.
But we competitively bid this.
So we had 2 bids, local bids.
Oh, quotes. Yeah.
Was it bids or just quotes for?
Quotes.
Yeah.
Quotes. And what the ordinance says is make good faith efforts to obtain at least 3 proposals or quotes. In this case, I got 2 from local contractors.
Yes.
Have we used this contractor before?
We have not, but we check references and we're highly confident in their work.
Yeah, they're not going to screw up the police
Are they in
department.
Westmont?
They're in Westmont.
They're in Westmont.
So,
Yeah, very good.
There is a
Westmont
provision in the addendum that I prepared that they have to comply with the Prevailing Wage Act because it's a public improvement project. So they signed the addendum. Hopefully they're aware of that. They have to maintain certified payrolls, all that good stuff that comes with a public improvement project.
Unless the owner does all the work.
That's right.
Any other comment? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Motion passes. We satisfied the 4 votes. Thank you. New business J, employment agreement. Board to consider ordinance approving an employment agreement to reappoint the fire chief. Manager May.
It is, and it's specifically termed to reappoint because Chief Riley is our fire chief and, selected by appointment, but, your ratification as well. And with that is employed under an employment agreement. So it is time for renewal. I'm asking you to let me keep him so that we can do that. The agreement is in there. We fine-tuned the language from the other version, but it's substantively the same format of the agreement. We had to change one thing that new state law required amending, and it's not what I wanted to... Oh, the compensation is listed as where it's at today, and even though this goes into effect as of June 1st, June 1st, when it be, you're approving it tonight so that we can accommodate it in the budget. So even though you're approving it tonight, as an employee will still be afforded and subject to any cost of living adjustment that is applied to all employees. And I mentioned at Admin Finance about the compensation study. So if that develops anything different, that this still leaves room for adjustments related to that.
3-year?
4.5 years.
4.5.
Is that right? 4.5 years. Yeah. And yeah, I could
Do I have a
talk all
motion to
night.
approve?
Motion to approve Guzzo.
Second, Nero.
Motion made in second. Additional comments? I asked Spencer, or our finance director.
We sure about this, Mayor?
Yeah. It's a CPI this year. I know we're going to hear about it in the budget because that's usually, it was high this year compared to previous years, wasn't it?
Going to start the budget workshop
I will say
tonight?
yes. I don't know the exact number, but it's definitely high compared to most years.
I mean, in the past, 2% or less, and I think this year it was over 3, wasn't it? The CPI, which we base like increases, which we get our tax money from increasing the CPI, it's usually what we base our some of our raises on.
General wage adjustment, that and other contractual employees to influence that.
I was just curious what the percent, what it was. So.
Right now, the February one is about 5% for all items for the local Chicago, Naperville, Elgin.
Okay.
Mayor?
Yes.
Naperville.
Trustee
Hey,
Barker.
I was going to wait until Trustee Guzzo said it's the best chief we ever had.
You're going to wait a long time.
I am a little biased, but things have changed in the last 30 years, and I understand that, so.
Lucky to have
there's, well, my father was fire chief for 25 years, so.
Handshake.
Probably.
Any other comments? Chief, nothing? All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes, yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Motion passes, Chief.
Thank you.
New business K, text amendment to zoning ordinance Article 12 for non-conforming structures and uses. Board to consider ordinance approving text amendments to Article 12 of the zoning ordinance regarding non-conforming, I just said that, structures and uses. I know, I read what's on my thing.
Now we know we can get you.
Yeah, you can get me.
Article 12, as the mayor mentions, regulates non-conforming structures and uses. And those are structures or uses that were either erected or started before the date of the 1979 Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance and were legal at the time they were either constructed or started as a structure or use, but now are not allowed by the regulations of the zoning ordinance. Those non-conforming structures or uses that pre-exist the zoning ordinance can continue. If something was started or built illegally before 1979, it's an illegal non-conforming structure or use and has to stop. If it was started after 1979 and is not allowed by the zoning regulations, for example, a use, it has to stop. And so this regulates that, and it's an existing section of the zoning ordinance, but I know the community development staff and I had some problems with some of the wording that was used and felt it could be cleaned up. I think Community Development Department knew what the intent of the existing language was, but felt that amendments would help with their enforcement of violations and their interpretations when property owners ask about this section. I can go into as much detail as you want. I know you had a pretty comprehensive staff report, but happy to answer any questions about that. I will say also, we did look at the non-conforming use and structure provisions of many surrounding communities, pulled out the best language that we could find and basically stole their language for these amendments. And I've also done some legal research on continuation of legal non-conforming uses in particular, and I think this addresses all of the Illinois case law issues.
Do you have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little?
Motion made, second. Any additional comments? I think it's doing what we need to do. Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move on to JKL, surplus property, Village Hall. Board to consider an ordinance declaring the attached chair inventory list from community development of non-functioning chairs. Is this one of them? As surplus property. Manager May.
Two things. One, talking about office chairs used to be the running joke, for budget workshops. And it kills me that this is on the agenda, but I'm told it has to be on the agenda. We're asking for your approval to allow me to throw garbage away. What you're doing is declaring it and confirming that it has zero value.
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second.
Second, Little?
This is no different than we do the fire department.
No, I mean, sometimes
Department, Public Works.
when it has value, your action will be to authorize the method of disposition, like we will sell it or put it on auction or donate it to somewhere. This is permission to
Dump it.
call it zero.
We, just as a comment, my first budget workshop was when I was elected and I wasn't yet sworn in. They talked about a $300 or $400 chair for 20 minutes. It was unbelievable.
Forehead still hurts from banging it off the counter.
Yeah, so this is probably the chair they talked about.
It's 10 years ago, so yeah.
He said before the meeting, if this doesn't pass, he's throwing them in the alley.
You're gonna go. Any other comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Motion passes, and we'll move on to the last item on the agenda. It's M, assignment of real estate contracts. Board to consider ordinance approving 2 assignments of real estate contracts from Holiday Property Service Midwest Incorporated to the Village of Westmont for the purchase of 1, 21 West Burlington Avenue in Westmont, and 2, 13 to 19 West Burlington Avenue in Westmont. And Manager May.
So this is still the version that says West Burlington, but we did republish, and we were talking about East Burlington properties. These are the 2 commercial properties that were part of a development assemblage that we just called One North Cass, and that one on there, that that developer and those agreements were all terminated last fall. There's still interest in the development of that corner. We've talked to, with many other people that have been interested in doing this, more so with one than another. This developer has agreements to purchase the 2 commercial properties for a mutually agreed price, and the reassignment allows those contracts to be transferred to the Village of Westmont so that we can close on the property, be in control of the property, assemble it with the properties we already have, and more efficiently approach the redevelopment of that corner moving forward. So this is the transfer of the authority to us to close for the amount that they negotiated.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Nero.
Motion made in second. Comments? I think this also allows us to work on the ComEd line and taking down the...
good point.
Yeah, taking down those buildings so the ComEd line can be run.
So for the, you know, if there was a development and an assemblage to go through the design period and doing all that and just get through permitting, you're a year and a half away, and then it might take another year and a half to actually build it. So this does allow us to do advanced work because we would own the property where the utility relocation would go and road realignment. So we can get a jump start on the parts that were holding it back previously. I'm excited about this.
It's going underground, right, the ComEd line?
Yeah.
But it goes under one of the properties, I think, or...
It's great. Right now?
No, when we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Any other comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes, motion passes. Miscellaneous, I have one comment. If anybody hasn't been down in 61st Street and Cass Avenue, across the street from the fire department, the demolition has begun. They're taking their time. It looks like they're sorting materials, so that strip mall should be gone maybe by next week. So they've been working on it. That was the number one question through the last several years.
You know, it remains the number one question, even in demolition.
Well, it remains comments from the number one.
Yes.
And again, just to go over, we're not here to regulate competition. If it fits in our zoning,
Thank you.
then we can, it's allowed. Just like the vape and just like the car wash, grocery stores, so let's have that over and over and over. Any other miscellaneous? Seeing none, then I do need an executive session for the purpose of the review of executive session minutes pursuant to Section 2C21 of the Open Meetings Act and the employment and performance of specific employees of the village pursuant to Section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act. Do I have a motion to go in executive session for those reasons?
Motion to go to executive session, Nero.
Second, Little?
Motion made in second. The executive sessions, we've had very few, so that won't take very long at all. And I'd ask for a roll call to go to executive session.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
And we're going to go into executive session. When we come out, there will not be any further business, so thank you for coming.